Davey, another defeat on the roads here at Rugby Park. Can you just give us your initial thoughts?
Frustration, disappointment, anger. It's initial thoughts, but let's be honest, we've not been good enough away from home. End of. Since December. Since December, it's coming down to, again, individual mistakes. I've changed the shape, I've changed the personnel, I've changed the personnel within the shape. Tried a few different connotations to try and get different results, and we seem to just come up and shoot ourselves in the foot every time. Offensively, I don't know, the away form's shocking. The away form's shocking. I need to find a quick fix. We've got one away game left, thank God. I seem to be apologising to the fans. We've had a lot of away games over home fixtures because I think our form at home's fairly decent. If I'm honest, it's decent. But I think away from home, do you know what? We've been bullied. Been absolutely bullied today. Is there really much between the teams? There's no. Last week was a much between the teams. There's no. And then Tannadice is a much between the teams. There's no. But you know what? These teams are fighting for their life. Absolutely fighting for their life in their Premier League existence. I don't know how I get out the group at this point because I'm not sure I'm seeing the same desire as when we approached match day one. I think our boys know we're going to be safe. Boys know we're going to be safe. Boys know we're going to be here next year. But me and my staff, we're doing everything from in it. Listen, there's a good group in there. I don't mean it. Like, there is a good group of players in there. But I think individuals, either there's going to be a lot more boys coming in the summer than I expected at this rate because, in my opinion, I was probably losing 2 or 3 players that I would consider to be starting 11 in terms of probably wee Steph, Nicky and Fitzy. So I was looking to replace him. But at this point, there's probably more. I'm probably looking to try and bring more in and move more on, if I'm honest, because I need to do something because you can't keep doing the same things and expect different results, and that's really where we are if you want me to be brutally honest.
Yeah, you said about the away form, that's 7 away defeats in the bounce. Haven't scored an away goal since in the Premiership since the 14th of January. Is there anything you can pinpoint to as to why that is?
No. Don't mean to laugh there, but no, there's not. I think you've got to find the foundations to win games of football. So see if you know the building blocks, the basics of football. See if you're not doing that, you're not going to win games of football. So I think the teams we're coming up against defensively, they're a lot more solid. It's became risk averse. It's back to front, it's big, it's strong, it's physical. I don't think we're living with the expectations. We're finding it really, really difficult ourselves to go and try and break that shape down in terms of, I don't think we've got, bar Joel, we've not really got that physicality up there. No, I'm working on it, staff are working on it, and I can only apologise to the travelling fans because I tell you what, I wouldn't be paying money to come and watch Livingston, and that's me being brutally honest, especially away from home.
It's one of those, at the start of the game, I felt like while maybe didn't create many clear-cut chances, Livingston seemed fairly comfortable in the game, like defensively and whatnot, but
say that for, I'd go, take away the Motherwell game where I thought we got battered the first 30 minutes. St Mirren game a wee bit different in terms it's 2 penalties which change the direction of the game, but still no good enough. Go to Tannadice, there's nothing in the game bar an early Jamie McGrath goal, then a mistake leads to the second, but we're chasing the game at that point because there's so much at stake. Go to Ross County last week, I thought we were probably the better team out with both boxes, but we never done enough in their box, and do you know what, we can't defend our own box at this point in time. And then today, there's nothing in the game, but again we keep shooting ourselves in the foot, we're making silly mistakes. First goal, Holte goes flying out and lets the boy inside. There's good striker movement, but we're back 4. There's too much of a distance between the 2 centre halves and the full backs. There's the first goal, just be flying out for our shape and not being in control. Second goal, again I'm not blaming Holte, but he goes up and puts his hands in the air and he turns his back on a shot with his arms in the air, and that leads to a penalty. It's 2-0, the game's done. You're not coming here and scoring 2. We did last at the start of the season. But that was different. You were on match day, whatever. You're coming to match day 34, match day 35. Teams are fighting for their lives. You're not going to come here and score 3 goals and pop them for fun. It's not going to happen. You need to be able to do the basics better, and we're not doing that at this point in time. And that falls on me.
it feels like whenever Livingston go a goal behind at the moment, they're just doesn't seem to be a way back into the game. It feels. Would you agree with that?
I think you've got to build your way back in the game, because obviously goals change games, especially at this level. But by giving a second goal away, you're finished. So I would like to see that, because at this point in time, you look at Motherwell, 3 quick goals, St Mirren, 3 quick goals. Ross County scored quite late in the first half, early in the second half. So I would like to see, well, I wouldn't like to see it, I don't want it to happen. But we've not really had that opportunity to build ourselves back into the games, in terms of you lose a goal and then you've got 60, 70 minutes to then go and get something else from the game. And then we lose a cheap goal early doors at half time today, and then we lose a penalty not long after, then the game becomes extremely difficult at that point. So I understand where you're coming from, but it's my job to try and fix that.
Back on home turf next weekend against Dundee United, what do you think needs to change?
We need to start picking results up, but what I would say is our home form's fairly decent. But you're coming up against a team again that are sitting bottom of the league, so it's not going to be easy. You've got to match that desire, you've got to match their physicality, and at this point in time, hand in heart, we've not been doing that, and we've got to cut out the individual errors. Now, I knew we'd go through a spell like this in the season. I think we went through this kind of spell at the start of last season. I think most teams out with the top 3, maybe top 4, have went through similar spells ourselves. We're no different, and it's up to us to find a way out of it. But being at home, hopefully that gives us that wee bit of injection, gives us that wee bit of impetus. Hopefully the fans can turn up in numbers and get behind the lads and try and get us 3 points to try and maybe get us back to 7th place in the league, because that was the objective at the split. But I can only hope that the fans stick by us and give us as much positivity as possible to try and lift the group. I'll do that with my staff, but I think it's blatantly obvious the players are out there and they're low in confidence. And I spoke about that with the group. You need to find that inner confidence yourself. You need to be able to find that, flick that switch and get that inner confidence, because you're in a highly competitive environment and nobody's going to give you confidence. You've got to go and find that yourself.